everybody. Welcome back to Bucks Beat, episode number 125 today. And the focus, the Georgia Bulldogs defense, specifically the pass defense. And we'll do a deep dive there. I've been reading all these college football magazines that are out and about right now as we hit summer. And I keep reading about all this big-time talent that we're going to see play at receiver in the SEC. Weapons and playmakers, it seems, with every team you scout out and take a look at. Auburn, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Texas. And Georgia plays all of these teams that have these big-time players at receiver. The Tigers are going to show off Cam Coleman. Freshman a year ago, you know, he'd be more dangerous coming into a sophomore season. The Rebels, you know Kiffin and these guys, man, they're going to hit that transfer portal, bringing in receivers like Deshaun Stribling and Harrison Wallace. Crimson Tide, they've got Ryan Williams. Everybody's heard of him by now. He's a big play waiting to happen. I think Jeremy Bernard is another one that DeBoer is counting on at Alabama, too, to make a lot of plays. Longhorns have Arch Manning at quarterback, you may have heard. And they've got some players at receiver, too. Ryan Wingo, expected to be a big play player for the Longhorns on offense. DeAndre Moore is another one. Texas, everybody's picking to win the SEC for the most part and to make a run at that national championship. So basically, this Georgia defense playing those four teams I just mentioned, they better be ready to control the opponent's passing game. Now, how do you do that? Well, you do it in two ways. One, you got your edge rushers that are getting after the quarterback. You're pressuring the quarterback. You're hitting the quarterback. You're sacking the quarterback, wreaking havoc on the quarterback. And then number two, your cornerbacks and your free safety, they got to play ball. And they got to be able to cover up these big-time playmakers you're going to see in the SEC. Now, most national analysts that I've read or listened to, they're underestimating Georgia's edge rushers. And it's because they don't really know, for the most part, who the edge rushers are. But not me, man. I'm a believer in what Kirby and his coaching staff have put together. You may have heard this. Kirby's recruiting, he and the coaching staff at an elite level. So they don't replace people that move on to the NFL. What they're doing at Georgia under Kirby Smart is they're plugging and playing. And guess who's getting plugged in and playing? Another 4- and 5-star recruit. So a lot of these national guys just hadn't heard much about these dudes that have been waiting and developing. And we're going to talk about them here today on the podcast. The Dawgs lost Michael Williams, first-round draft pick, Chaz Chambliss, and then Damon Wilson transferred out of the program and hit a big payday at Missouri. Now, that would crush a lot of these programs, not Georgia under Kirby Smart. They're just going to plug and play. I wanted to talk first about a player that I expect to be one of the most important players on this Georgia defense. And that is junior outside linebacker Gabe Harris. Gabe Harris can play both the jack outside linebacker spot and he can line up and play at the defensive end spot. Now, he flashed his skill set last season. You may have missed it. Played in 7 games. And he had 100 pass rush reps in the season last year. Gabe Harris is undercover because he only played in 7 games, and most of these analysts didn't even know he was in there. 14 tackles and 2 sacks out of Gabe. 6'4", 265 pounds. He is out of Thomasville, Georgia, so you know he's tough. Another one of these South Georgia boys. Moved on to IMG and finished up his high school career there. He's a leader in this outside linebacker room. Georgia with a lot of young players. So Gabe stands out as being an upperclassman. What are those skills that Gabe Harris flashed last season? Well, let me talk about that. He showed off his athleticism and his explosiveness, which comes in handy at that position. He's also tough. You got to like a guy that's tough and talented. Plays with a high motor. I mean, he's out there and he's going 100% at all times. Now, he missed spring practice because of labrum surgery, but he is expected to be back 100% in time for summer camp coming up here in a few weeks. So keep an eye out for Gabe Harris, one of the most important players on this Georgia team heading into the season. Now, the other edge rusher is expected to be the Army transfer, Elo Modozie, Jacksonville native, St. Augustine, I believe, where he played his high school football. He was a receiver in high school at Duval County, and he's expected to rep it out at the outside linebacker, Jack outside linebacker spot. Now, he's proven and he's experienced. He had 6.5 sacks last season at Army. And he shows off a blend of pass rush moves. He's not a one-trick pony. He gets to the quarterback, and he's able to do it with speed and quickness and also with power. So he has, a couple of moves, pass rush moves that he can go to, and he has shown that off last season. He's got a motor that runs hot, like Gabe Harris. And you would expect a guy that was at Army to be disciplined, and he plays disciplined football. Look, to win at an elite level, defenses have got to pressure the quarterback, and they've got to do it consistently, week in and week out. And then in the secondary, they've got to cover up these explosive big play receivers, prevent those big explosive plays. So just going to say, man, I really like the talent that Kirby has at corner and at free safety coming into this season. KJ Bolden, the free safety, was amazing as a true freshman last year. Came in, started, played most of the snaps, and got the job done as a freshman. Do you know how hard that is to play at that level as a freshman? Well, he's going to be even better in year number 2 as a sophomore. You might see his name in these magazines as a preseason All-SEC pick, and you might see him show up on some of these All-American teams also. Look, when you have a quality free safety on defense, basically he's an eraser. All right, when your cornerback gets beat vertically and your free safety can get over the top and prevent the big play, you got something special. You can win with that. And that's what KJ Bolden brings to the table. He's got All-American skills. One of the best free safeties in college football coming into the season. So expect to see elite play there at the free safety spot. Now let's talk about the cornerbacks, the boundary cornerbacks. You've got fifth-year senior cornerback Dalen Everett is, with a good season, is a potential first-round pick. He's back, and he's legit. This guy, watching him play, he's got the fofo speed. I mean, he's picking them up and put them down. He can run with these receivers vertically down the field with that 4.40 talent. He's athletic. He's got ball skills. He's got good size, so he can be aggressive with his tackling. I found him, just watching him play, to be very instinctive. He anticipates these routes, not fooled very often, and you got to love his experience. This will be his 3rd year in a row on the field, getting the majority of the routes. I mean, there's a lot to like about Dalen Everett. Outstanding in cover 3, where you read and react. Does a great job there. In quarters coverage, the same thing. Anticipating, reading what's about to happen in front of him. Read and reacts very quickly. Pencil him in, Everett, as a first-team All-SEC cornerback in the upcoming season. Now, on the other side, had some competition going on And it was between Daniel Harris and Ellis Robinson IV, who were busy competing during the spring. Harris took over late last season and gave this position that he stepped in at a real boost at the end of the year. He also stepped up big in the spring. And looking at him this spring, one thing was really obvious to me is that he was playing with more confidence. You could just look at him and tell he was more confident in the way he was playing the game, and that really stood out. He made more plays this spring, appeared to be stronger as far as the tackling and the physicality of playing cornerback, developing into a better tackler. He's got ball skills, and those 50-50 balls, he's not going to get pushed around. He looks like to be a starter as camp gets underway later this summer. Now, Ellis Robinson IV has come on strong. He hit campus a year ago as the #1 cornerback in that 2024 recruiting class. So he's now coming into his second season. Did a lot of learning and developing last year as a freshman behind the scenes. Big expectations for this guy. When you're the #1 cornerback in the nation in your recruiting class, expectations are big. And he needed, let's be real here, Ellis needed a year to get comfortable. And most freshmen need that year. Hit the weight room, he was a blade of grass when he showed up. So he hit the weight room now, a year in the program. He's stronger, and he's more comfortable in the scheme. He's got a long wingspan, 33 inches. Can run. We're talking 4.4, 4.5 in the 40. Seems to be one of those guys that can play both zone and man comfortably. Probably one of the reasons why he was the #1 rated cornerback in his class. He can play both zone and man coverage effectively. And if he's the second corner, if he's the backup to Daniel Harris, then Georgia's in a really good place heading into the season. They're loaded with talent at the top of the depth chart at the boundary cornerback spots. Now, Ellis will continue to improve. Who knows how this turns out during the season? I would expect Daniel Harris will start the season opposite Dalen Everett. But look for Ellis Robinson to come on strong during the course of the year and be able to rotate in. Look, if the Georgia defense is going to match up against the big-time talent in the SEC, if they're going to hold up against some of these big offenses, against these big play SEC passing attacks that they're going to face, the edge rushers, Gabe Harris, Elo Modozie, they're going to have to deliver big seasons getting heat on the quarterback. And in the secondary, Dalen Everett, Daniel Harris, Ellis Robinson IV are going to have to be elite in coverage. And these 6 players, in my opinion, will go a long way in determining just how good this Georgia Bulldog defense will be and how good the Georgia Bulldog team will be this upcoming season. Look, these national analysts, some of the time, they don't really know who's been waiting in the wings to take over behind these guys that exit to the National Football League. But if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, you've heard all about these 6 guys that I pointed out today. So really excited about the Bulldog season. Know we spent a lot of time talking about the quarterback play, receiver play, as sort of a passion, you know, as a former quarterback. But trust me on this, man. A quarterback knows on defense who's got to step up and play big. So I wouldn't be worried about the edge rusher position. I think you're going to be impressed with what Kirby and Schumann are going to trot out there. And then at cornerback, feeling really good about the cornerback and free safety combination heading into the season. It's going to do it for this podcast. Hope you enjoy or have a great July 4th holiday. We'll be back next week with a couple of more podcasts. We appreciate you listening. Go Dawgs.